Here's something to think about. As Americans prepare to gather around the Thanksgiving dinner table, we want to shine a light on the millions of people in this country who are struggling with food insecurity. According to the USDA, more than 44 million people right here in the U.S. do not have enough food to eat, or they can't access healthy food, and that includes 13 million children. And it's a problem that doesn't affect everyone equally. The nonprofit Feeding America's annual report finds that while people experience food insecurity in every community, children, seniors, and people of color are disproportionately affected. The CEO of Feeding America, Claire Babineaux-Fontenot, is joining us now. Claire, thank you for being here with us. And first of all, can you expand on some of these numbers? Put this into scale of the crisis that we're seeing and explain why these certain communities face it more than others.
Yes. So first, thank you for having me on and for helping us lift our voice for them. So to give you context on the number you provided, nearly 14 million children, 13 million, that's 1 in 5 children in this country who don't have consistent access to food. 1 in 7 people across the country, 44 million people. And the people who are accessing the charitable food system, of which Feeding America is a major part, even more people, nearly 50 million people, were forced to turn to the charitable food system in order to feed themselves and their families, including their kids. The good news is that we can do something about it. We've actually done things in the past that work. We need to understand that the problem persists, and we need to decide that it's simply unacceptable.
And it certainly cannot be ignored. Last year, the child poverty rate nearly doubled to 12.4% after the child tax credit expansion that was part of President Biden's American Rescue Plan ended. That was in December of 2021. So explain why the problem now of food insecurity is just getting worse.
Yeah, I think it can probably be a struggle for people to think about the fact that the economy seems to be doing so well. And yet, how could we have that many people who are food insecure? Well, we talk to people experiencing hunger, and they tell us that food insecurity is a symptom of poverty. That when they might get a big promotion at work that provides them with a couple more dollars per hour in pay. And on top of that, though, they had access to childcare. It goes away because now they're above the threshold for receiving childcare subsidies. Or they talk a lot about what's happening with housing prices, and how when those housing prices skyrocket, it impacts them specifically and really, really hard. You mentioned communities of color. Wherever people of color live in the country, whether it be in rural America, in big city centers, or everywhere in between, communities of color have to address systems that perpetuate them continuing to struggle with food insecurity at rates that are inordinate. But something that might be missed in the most recent data that I think it's really important to flag as well, more and more people with higher income are, in fact, food insecure today than in the past. And we really need to wrestle with the fact that, again, this is a symptom of poverty, that we need to be addressing the whole person and all the various things that impact a person's well-being. We need to do the things we know work, like child care credit, like during the pandemic, we did lots of interventions that we know helped. During the pandemic in 2021, 60 million people turned to the charitable food system for help. 38 million people identified as food insecure. Then the very next year, with additional things being put in place to be helpful, that number went down drastically. When those supports were taken away, as you might imagine, the number went back up. And in fact, the number we have now is one of the highest rates of food insecurity since they started measuring rates of food insecurity in this country.
It's just unimaginable. And you're right, you have to deal with each person with their individual needs on a unique basis. And as you know, I mean, right now it's the season of giving, right? So what is your message to people as they enter this holiday? How can they really help?
Well, we always talk in terms of food, funds, and friends. Right now, the charitable food system is really being stretched well beyond its capacity. We're having to do the unthinkable, which is to turn people away because we don't have enough to provide, because food donations are down, because we also have the opportunity to provide federal commodities to people, and they're down by 48%. So I'd say go out to feedingamerica.org. There's a food bank locator on that page. Put in the zip code for the community that you care the most about. Reach out to that food bank and do the things you can to help.
All right, will do. Good message. Claire Babineaux-Fontenot, thank you so much for being with us today.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.